got another great invention for you. But before we look at it, let's see a story about the most adventurous twin brothers I've ever heard of.
Early this century, two of the most daring balloonists in the Swiss Army were the twin brothers Jean and Auguste Picard. Both later became scientists, but they still dreamed of going to the top of the Earth's atmosphere by balloon. Jean went to America to experiment. He built a craft lifted by 98 small balloons instead of one very big one. To everyone's surprise, it worked. He went up nearly 2 miles, but it wasn't all that easy to come back down again. Even Jean wasn't sure how to do it. He tried cutting balloons free. This wasn't enough, and he was in danger of crashing into high mountains. Taking out a pistol, he shot them and burst many more balloons. He came down much lower, but he still could not land. Amongst the balloons was a small charge of TNT. He exploded this and got rid of the rest of the balloons. Now he did land, and with a great bump. It was such a big one, it was some time before he went ballooning again.
That would be a good idea for automobiles. When you want to stop, just blow the car up with TNT and walk away. If everybody did that, we wouldn't have any traffic problems.
Auguste, the other brother, planned to go right up where there was practically no air at all. He decided to go in an airtight sphere, and to get this made, he went to a shop where they made metal beer barrels. At last, all was ready. The huge balloon was filled with gas. Cylinders of oxygen were placed inside the sphere. But a high wind arose, and the sphere was dragged sideways and damaged. Auguste almost gave up. He might have, if people hadn't begun to laugh. It made Picard so mad that he decided to go ahead with the experiment. In another minute, they were on their way up. This happened so quickly, they immediately had to start sealing the sphere. One hole was difficult to close. Soon they were 10 miles up, and certainly right at the top of the Earth's atmosphere, but that hole was still open. They were losing all their precious air and oxygen through it. They had very little oxygen left when at last the hole was sealed. They quickly pulled the descent valve, but to their horror, they found this did not work. For some reason, the balloon began to fall and was drifting towards high mountains. Somehow, it passed between dangerous rocky peaks and came down with a crash on a glacier. It was terribly cold, and they had no idea where they were. In the morning, they roped themselves together and set off through the snow. It was an exhausting journey, and they were very relieved when they were saved by a party of alpine guides. Picard and his assistant received a great welcome in the village. The Picard brothers made many more balloon flights to the top of the atmosphere, and for this they are famous. None, however, were as hair-raising as these first flights.
Those Picard twins were pretty smart. Just think of what they could have done if they were triplets. Anyhow, this is my very latest invention, my new potato peeling machine. All you have to do is put in the potatoes, flip the switch. Goodness me, they do seem to have shrunk. But maybe they'd be good for people with small appetites. Whoops. Well, now, I know what I've really invented. A turban-making machine. That'll make me a fortune, won't it? That is, if I ever get to Arabia.